Welcome to Supply Chain Now, the voice of global supply chain. Supply Chain Now focuses on the best in the business for our worldwide audience, the people, the technologies, the best practices, and today's critical issues, the challenges and opportunities. Stay tuned to hear from those making global business happen right here on Supply Chain Now.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Scott Luton with Supply Chain Now. Welcome back to the show here today. We are broadcasting from the 18th Annual Reverse Logistics Association Conference and Expo, the center of the universe for all things returns management and reverse logistics, at least this week, right here in Vegas. I'm joined by a couple of fantastic featured guests, one repeat guest. We've got Julie Ryan, Senior Manager, North America Returns and Remarketing with HP. Julie, how you doing?
Hi, good. Glad to be back.
It's great to see you. I tell you, the world's changed in the last couple of years, huh?
A little bit.
Looking forward to revisit with you. And you brought a friend,
yes.
Reid Ginzel, Remarketing Program Manager, also with HP.
Yes,
Great to see
absolutely.
you.
First time here at RLA and glad to be here.
Fantastic. Well, welcome. You're amongst friends.
That's right.
Great to have. We love a repeat guest. So, before we get down into, we've been calling it Soup of the Day, right? Returns management, reverse logistics, those are the big themes. Before we get there, let's rekindle our knowledge of one Julie Ryan and our new friend Reid Ginzel. So, Julie, tell us where you grew up. Give us a little context there.
Well, I have a little bit of color here
Yeah.
because I was the product of a corporate America dad.
Okay.
So born outside of Chicago, lived in Detroit, outside of Detroit, Iowa, Fargo, North Dakota.
Really? Fargo?
And landed in Texas my senior year in high school. So I think my claim to fame is I went to 3 high schools and 3 states.
So so many questions, so little time. Of all those cities you mentioned, those great cities,
Yes.
what was your most endearing one?
Chicago. And we still try and get back every couple of years. And it's really the city, Lakeshore Drive, but the Chicago deep dish pizza.
I'm with you. I
a
love
fan.
I love Chicago. We've been a couple times in the early fall before it gets really cold, and you can sit outside and eat at
Yes.
Farmers Festival, all that stuff.
Yes.
The pizza, you name it. It's such
Yeah.
a great city.
Love the city. Wouldn't want to go today, though.
No,
It's cold.
I bet. All right, Reid, how about you? I think yours. It's a little easier, more simple history. Is that right?
It's not quite as exciting as Julie, so to speak, but I was actually born and raised, landed in Texas day one for Reid,
Okay.
and grew up in Cypress, Texas. It's a northwest suburb of Houston. Lived there my entire life. It's grown massively, and I've gotten to see that expansion, and we actually like it so much that I got married. We rooted ourselves in Cypress, and we have 2 kids that are hopefully going to continue to grow up in Cypress.
Further laying down your roots, how old are your children?
We have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, a 3-year-old girl and a 1-year-old boy.
Man, those are exciting ages, huh?
We're in the thick of it right now.
Well, awesome. One quick follow-up question. So Cypress, lots of growth, right outside of Houston. What's one thing that Cypress is known for beyond having the Ginzel kids running around?
So little known fact is it's actually the 3rd largest school district in Texas, right behind Houston ISD and Dallas ISD.
Really?
It's a very big school district.
So you weren't kidding when it comes to growth.
No, not at all. There's probably over 10 high schools. It's probably closer to 12 or 13 high schools in Cy-Fair School District.
All right. Well, one other thing, little tidbit we picked up on you, Reid, from our dear friend, the one and only Tevin E. Taylor, is that you're also a fellow Texas A&M fan and maybe alum too?
That's correct.
Okay.
Graduated from Texas A&M, a 4th generation Aggie, so I almost didn't have a choice. It chose me.
4th generation Aggie. So as we're getting around to my next question, favorite sports team, the Aggies clearly is number 1. Is that?
That's correct, and to be specific, probably the Johnny Manziel era. I mean, I was a student during that time, and there wasn't anything more exciting than going and watching Johnny, especially as he was progressing through the season and see how special that was.
He was a giant killer, wasn't he?
He was.
So, well, there's going to be some big days coming up from what we tell. Tevin was making some broad predictions yesterday with us. They signed, I think, the number 1 class for college football.
That's
Jimbo
correct.
Fisher doing some big things. So we'll see how that plays out. Maybe that will factor into your big, bold prediction we're going to get from you later in the show.
That's a good call.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. So Julie, bring you back in as we kind of wrap up this little get to know you section on the front end. Your favorite sports team?
So I follow sports. I enjoy sports because I had a brother and a dad who did, and I have what I call a sports addict husband.
Okay.
Love sports. So I'm probably loyal to the Rockets and their NBA
Rockets,
champion.
yeah.
Houston Rockets.
Back
and
to
then
back. I think they won back to back.
They did.
Back in the 90s, right?
That's
Yep.
right,
Hakeem
94,
Olajuwon.
95.
And and my husband actually went to one of those games.
Really?
Yep. And then, of course, our Astros.
Astros,
World
yes.
Series
Goodness gracious.
champs.
Talented Astros team. Okay. Well, let's get down to business. We've talked kind of hometowns or home regions, maybe, Julie, with yours. We've talked sports teams. Let's talk about the year that keeps on giving, right? We've learned so much as a business, as humanity, you name it, beyond in 2021. It gave us eureka moments by the truckload oftentimes. So back with you, Reid. Give me one eureka moment that 2021 gave you.
I would say increasing our brand with inside of HP, finding new ways to connect. Not everybody knows what our team does in returns management and reverse logistics. So getting our reach out there, and that almost happened naturally with COVID because there was so much of a need for product.
Right.
And where do they need to turn to find it? Our team right here within HP.
Right, everybody needed more and more equipment. Home offices, they grew. You talk about growth and sprawling home offices. I bet y'all are keeping up with hot demand, huh?
Absolutely.
All right, so how about you, Julie, when we think of eureka moments?
Kind of picking up of what Reid said, but with the forward team, they had short supplies. So they had some inventory. Just recently was the best example of that was sitting in with Windows 10.
Yeah.
Well, Microsoft released Windows 11. So they needed to rework them. They learned of our capabilities, of our partners. So we brought them in, reworked them, loaded them with Win 11, and got them out for a shopping network that we are all familiar with before their launch.
Right.
So that was a really great insight to be able to partner with them.
And give the people what they want is what I'm hearing,
Yeah.
right? All right.
And when they want it, and we have the supply and the capabilities.
Yes. And now folks are more aware, per what you were sharing earlier, Reid. They're more aware of what HP can do in that brand awareness. Let's talk about what you do more specifically at HP. So Julie, let's start with you. What, in your role as Senior Manager, North America Returns and Remarketing, where do you spend your time?
So I lead the end-to-end team, Canada and US, that we begin with the forecasting and the planning, the strategy of what the returns are going to come back. We work with our customers on their return requests, approvals. In the middle, the operations includes crediting, remanufacturing, and then the tail end of remarketing and selling it back with HP warranty.
Man, that's
Yeah.
like 3 full plates, Julie.
It's a good end-to-end team because we're small but mighty and can work fast.
Yeah.
And we're really like a business within a big business.
Yep.
So it's nice.
Good old planning and forecasting. We love that when it comes to supply chain,
And
right?
that has been quite a challenge and an interest with this whole pandemic.
I bet so. That we could probably produce a whole series
totally,
on
yeah,
that next
yeah,
go round.
yeah.
All right. So Reid, what about you in your role?
So on the tail end of what Julie's describing there would be the remarketing strategy. So once we have figured out, Julie's team's done the planning, the forecasting, the operational piece, the refurbishment, once we have items that have come back to us, we have to figure out where in the channel, if we want to put it in the channel, what do we want to do with that product? So we have a team under Julie that manages that entire strategy, and we execute on that strategy of, do we want to put it here in the channel? Do we have other alternatives that we can utilize for that product? So that's what we're always trying to look for, increasing HP market share by what we do with the return side of the business.
I got you. Sounds like you're executing smart business where the demand is one of the things y'all look at, right?
And that's exactly what we have to look at, is where's the demand, where's the best place for us to put that product?
And it changes. Y'all find it changes regularly? Is there a couple of hallmarks, things you can lean on, and then the rest? Speak to the change in channels.
Well, there's never a cookie cutter approach, so you always have to adapt, and we touch everything. That's something that's unique about our organization, is that some of the business units, they only focus on monitors, they might focus on desktops. We have to be prepared to touch every single piece of it.
Wow, okay. So you don't get any sleep at night, it sounds like to me. I mean, I can only imagine.
For me, that's due to kids, not so much.
All right, so we've talked about your roles. Let's kind of broaden things out. when it comes to reverse logistics, returns management, while we're here this week, Center of the Universe for that space is right here in Vegas at the RLA Conference and Expo. What's one thing or two things that you're focused on in that space right now, Julie?
Well, one of the big things is hybrid workers, right? Not only are we HP employees working from home, but the world is.
All of us, yeah.
The world is. So what products can we target from a development and a design, but in particular for us, it has shifted who we're selling to and the demand for that. So making sure we're on top of supplying and pricing and intentionally putting notebooks, docking stations, the monitors, the product that our customers need in their homes to equip their employees.
Man, so we sat here, I want to say February 2020?
Right.
Last time we were actually on the other side of the exhibition hall. And little did we know, just a few weeks later, Yeah, a few weeks later, because really, Modex, which followed this conference just by a few weeks, as I recall, 2 years, everything's changed.
Right.
But that was our last in-person event for probably 18 months.
Wow.
And kind of some of the changes you are speaking to,
Yep.
the changes that your teams at HP has had to react to, and then put a plan together to meet people and consumers where they want to be met, right?
Yeah, and our corporate customers.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's been the big demand.
Yes.
They've got to have product for their employees to work.
That's right. Employee experience. Okay.
Yes.
Reid, how about you? When you survey, again, reverse logistics, it's returns management. I'm not going to throw you all in there. I'm a big nerd for this kind of stuff, so y'all can join me in my fandom. But what's one or two of the things that you're tracking?
Well, kind of like you're talking about fandom, we're seeing the resurgence of PC gaming in the industry. And I have a passion for that, so I can relate to that. And what we saw early on was PC gaming was very prominent in the early phases of gaming. Now, or later on, it got into console gaming.
Right.
We had the Xbox, all those different brands. And then now we're seeing everything is shifting back to the PC gaming. And we've seen very rapidly the amount of PC console or PC that have gone out, PC gaming that have gone out. And as we can see on the macro side of the trend, where as those shipments on the Ford side increase, we're going to naturally get more returns back.
Right.
And so understanding that market, being able to tap into the right places within that market is something that we're highly interested in following. And as an avid gamer, I have a passion for it.
Right. Okay. I gotta follow up with a question there. Right.
Yeah.
I grew up with a Sega Genesis, and then a PlayStation, and now my son is. Nintendo Switch. Thank you very much. That's his passion, and he's discovered Fortnite. And to hear him strategize with his friends, this Fortnite game, it is awesome. But it's blown up, to your point.
And what's great about the gaming is like you mentioned, you can connect with your friends virtually, which is something that happened a lot during COVID. You couldn't always get out and play with your friends outside, so what did you do? You connected with them virtually.
Yes.
And gaming allows people to do that. And it's not something that everybody understands. They think you need to connect via social media. Gaming is another great outlet for that.
Okay, one more follow-up question to this. Your favorite game, Reid?
Probably Call of Duty Warzone.
Okay.
The good Battle Royale Call of Duty franchise is great, so that would be my answer for that. But there's a lot of games that I like to participate in.
Awesome. We'll see about your kids. They may follow right in your footsteps. Who knows? You might have competitions and tournaments in the Ginzel household.
Yep.
Okay, we've run the gamut here, but anything else based on that both of y'all shared? Anything else before we get into a bold, fearless prediction? Okay. All right. So Reid, break out your mighty crystal ball and give us a big, bold prediction for 2022.
So as we talked about in the Eureka moment, one of the things that we have to do within HP is get brand recognition within HP, what we do, and we're seeing as we have supply constraints, as well as the whole entire shift in products with HP is now not so much as a device, but as a service. And as we're seeing that HP is rolling out more service-based programs, we have to, in returns, be able to adapt to that as well. And I think we've had a lot of opportunities to be able to collaborate with different business units and take returns and be able to remanufacture them with those same service requirements that they have on the new side, which then also allows the new side to tap into our products because it's the same offering.
Love that. Love that. So we're going to see a lot more of it.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So you're going to see, as we've seen throughout COVID, more reliance on our team. You're going to see, I think, a big increase in that within the next year.
I love that. Can I ask you a quick follow-up question?
Yeah,
Clearly,
right.
HP has invested in the talent and the operations to be able to handle and process returns and get them back out in the marketplace. We need more companies to kind of follow HP's lead there. I mean, easy softball question, but would you agree?
Oh, totally. Yeah. And I think more and more companies and industries are recognizing the importance to invest in a reverse team because of the margin and the loss and the opportunity with sustainability,
Yes.
circularity, whatever the word you want to use within your company. It's really, really important.
Agree. And consumers demand it more and more.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Wait, it's been so cool to check back in with you after a
Yes,
couple of
likewise.
years. Reid, nice to meet you. I mean, that sounds like HP got another great
We
team
did.
member
We
in
did.
the pride of Cypress, Texas. Let's make sure folks can connect with both of y'all, though. So, Julie, you first. How can they connect with
So
you?
best way to connect is LinkedIn.
Okay. Oh, it's easy.
Yeah.
It's just that easy.
Julie.Ryan. Yeah.
Man, I'm so jealous of Microsoft. I'm so
Yeah,
very
I know.
jealous. Right? All right. How about you, Reid?
Same thing with me. You can find me on LinkedIn, Reid Ginzel. There's probably not too many of them out there, but if there are, look for the guy with red hair.
Awesome. And the A&M alum.
It's
right?
exactly right.
Awesome. Okay. Well, big thanks to Reid Ginzel, Remarketing Program Manager, and Julie Ryan, Senior Manager for North America Returns and Remarketing, both with HP. Great conversation. Let's do it again. Let's not wait 2 years next time.
I like that.
Awesome.
I like that. All
Awesome.
right.
Y'all
Thank
enjoy
you.
the rest
Thank
of
you
your
for having
conference.
us.
Hey, listeners, hopefully you enjoy the conversations as much as I have. Make sure you connect with Reid and Julie on LinkedIn and elsewhere. We'll have the links in the show notes of the episode page. Hopefully you enjoy the conversation. Hey, make sure you find Supply Chain Now wherever you get your podcasts from. Most importantly, hey, Scott Luton challenging you to do good, to give forward, be the change that's needed. On that note, we'll see you next time right back here at Supply Chain Now. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for being a part of our Supply Chain Now community. Check out all of our programming at supplychainnow.com and make sure you subscribe to Supply Chain Now anywhere you listen to podcasts. And follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. See you next time on Supply Chain Now.